Hello, everybody. It's already Wednesday, 16th of February 2022. It's 9 o'clock here in Ireland, 9 o'clock in London, Greenwich. And once more, we have this amazing team here with us. And today we do have a special guest. As you can see on your screen, she's between Elsa, and myself. So, yeah, our special guest is Angela. Angela Stewart, she was a co-founder and director for Inner Enlightenment in Manhattan, New York, for 10 years. And now she likes sun. She went to the sunshine. She moved to Miami. She founded the Miami Inner Light Spiritist Society, and she worked with Spiritism in English, especially to the youth and teens. So it's more than needed her help in preparation of those who will talk about the spiritism in the future. So Angela is welcome to our live here, our discussion. Thank you for your time and availability.
Thank you so much, Steven. Thank you to all of you for the invitation. I think the topic is extremely important because we see, as we were talking previously, in the background, that the teenagers of nowadays, they are very different from myself when I was a teen or so many others. So they are really like fast in learning, in producing content, but to catch their attention and to keep their attention is a little bit more difficult than it was in the past with us. Just if you look in the social media, for example, where the teenagers are more concentrated on Facebook, no, they don't even know what it is. They are in Instagram or in TikTok. And I was talking to my son, who is 17 years old, and I was asking him, so why are you all in these platforms? And he said, oh, because it's really quick. So we can have a lot of knowledge in a very fast time, like in very quick moment. We can have lots of videos.
Okay, we need to find a way to put us on Instagram.
That's it. We need to discover where they are, and we have to connect in these platforms so they can start paying attention. So we need really the help of teams to understand how to work with teams.
Thank you. So let's have a good night. Let's say good night to our friends in UK. So Elsa, good night, my dear.
Good evening.
Good evening, everyone. So once again, it's a great pleasure to be here, to hug you all with my heart, my thoughts, my good energy. So tonight we will discuss a very important topic for all families in the world. Thanks God that we are talking English and we can really discover ways to link spirituality everywhere around young people. Thank you all. I hope you have a nice night, evening, and welcome, Angela, our dear friend.
Good evening, Silvia. How's Wimbledon?
Hello, good evening. Rainy and windy. We have since yesterday. Nice day today, but it's raining. But it's lovely to be here again. The day seemed to go so quickly. It feels almost I was here just before. So it's lovely to be with everyone, especially the subject tonight is a very important subject for us because the young people are the future of the world, and we know that many now have come with missions to move this world forward. So I think whether we have children of our own or we know people who have children, we have friends, it's our job to really look after them and help them and support them in their struggles, because I think in many ways they face quite a lot more difficulties than I did when I was young. So that's why the subject is very good. And we hope that today we'll be able to reach out to someone that needs some information or wants to do some work about that. So it's good. Welcome to everyone, and God bless everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, my dear. Bonsoir, Charles.
Bonsoir, Stevan. Bonsoir à tous. Bonjour à tous. Très heureux d'être à nouveau parmi vous ce soir et aussi avec notre invitée Angela, qui va nous parler des jeunes, des adolescents. Hello, I'm very happy to be here again with you all, and in particular with our special guest today, which is Angie, which will talk to us about youth, teens, which is, as Silvia or Elsa told it already, it will be you, teens, tomorrow, to substitute us. And so we will be teen as well, but only in the next life. So it may take a little while, but in short term or mid-term, it has to be. So we need really to focus and to prepare the field in the best possible way to ensure the future. Thanks a lot for all these opportunities.
Thank you, Charles. Thank you. So let's, as usual, let me put our introductory video. Let me see. So looks fine. Let's go.
Everything starts when we start comparing ourselves, and comparison can be very enlightening, but also can be very detrimental. When we compare ourselves to great works, perhaps we want to do better. But sometimes we compare ourselves to great works and we think that we don't do nothing. We don't have any value compared to the great works. But then when we see that the little that we can do perhaps can bring a change, can make a change, and it's okay. Sometimes that little that we can offer can go many, many ways, right? And can go, different ways, and that we can even imagine. We often bring back the parenting situation. We often don't give any value to the times that our parents lost sleep. A mother loses sleep with a child, and that goes unnoticed. And it's the same thing. A mother can feel sometimes that perhaps if the kid does something wrong later on in life, that she didn't do a good job. She did an amazing job, but it was just a matter of how valued those little moments were. We are creations of the Creator, and we're all destined to happiness and to be free of this illusion that we don't have any value.
Okay, so one amazing video for our friends from Spiritus Academy. So thank you for this wonderful video. And I already read Angela bio, and she already gave a spoiler how fast is gonna be our talk today. And I want to say, Angela, it's your showtime. So break a leg. Teach us how to teach them, please.
Well, thank you so much for the invitation. And I'm happy to share with you the little that I know. And as I mentioned, we are learning every day. And when we talk about children and the youth, we have to learn faster so we can keep up with them, because their brains are wired in a different way and they are really, really quick, and we have to keep up with it. So as you saw, I worked in inner enlightenment for 10 years, and during these 10 years, I had my son, and our center in the time was very small. It's all in English in Manhattan. So when you have a small place, you have to do everything. So I started also helping with the children, with the classes for the children. And it's very important for us to help them since very, very young to understand what we are doing, so they don't reach to a age of being a teenager. And when someone asks him or her, what is Spiritism? They answer like, oh, this is something that my mother or my father follows. I have heard this. And this is not good, because it means that this teenager, he really didn't understand it, or he didn't connect with it. Because sometimes they understand, but they don't connect, especially the ones that are brought to centers. They were born in America, for example, so the language here is English, but they are brought to a place where they have to learn Spiritism in Portuguese. So for them, they already have to work, because everything for them, school, their friends are in English. So they kind of, this thing in Portuguese is from my mom's land. So it's really important that we keep this in English, so they can fully learn, even if the Brazilians maybe are the ones who are coordinating, but the little ones, they have to learn this in English. So we quickly learned that the everything we do have to be with fun. So for the little ones, it's easier, because little kids, everything is fun and everything is good. They love plays, they love theater, they love coloring. So it's easy for them. But when they become preteens and teens, that's the challenge. So then you have to entertain them in a different way. And as I mentioned, I have a son who is 17, and every time he participates on an event, it's very important for me to ask him, what did you think about? What it could be improved? What do you think would bring more teens to connect with it? And I do the same thing nowadays in a Spiritus center, that we have classes for youth. And usually they always mention, but it's very boring. It's very boring. I have to say that it's not easy to keep a teenager excited. It's not easy. It's not an easy task. And there are many times that we have to teach them something, and it can be with games or with fun, but we realize when it's something that they can be involved in doing, they get a little bit more serious and they get more excited on doing it. So this type of participation is extremely important, to involve them. We can do it like in the Spiritus Center, like a school class where they just sit and listen, because this is not going to connect them. They have to connect. They have to think like, I am contributing somehow. And, different levels of knowledge, different levels of understanding, but everyone can contribute. And we can always help understanding which level is this kid, what he could help. And we can give guidelines, and we can all work together, making this more fun when they are participating of it. So I don't know. I don't want to keep talking. I want you guys to interact too, so it's not like boring. Let me know. I have some websites that I could share. I have some stories that I could share, but maybe you guys know when is the best moment.
Okay. So first of all, let's say hi to our friends here. Munir, good evening, my friend. Glad you are here. Thank you. Also, we have here, let me see. Okay. Jomara. Let me see. And Jomara already gave us a question. Please, guys, send your question. Let's take the opportunity to have Angela with us. So what she's saying is, they need to know that it's like going to school. They will have theory and fun practice. End of the class as a game about the topic, and also give them homework to come up with games and present classes. So I think the idea here from Jomara, Angela, is kind of
School.
how to entertain these things and make them, I'm not saying make them with desire to go to the spirit center, because most of them don't have desire to go to school. If you're going to go to school, so it's the same, but at least when they go, they enjoy be there, and don't look at to you, oh, it's boring, I'm bored.
That's exactly the point. If we make it too similar to school, this is an obligation that's not fun. So we have to break this idea. They have to have homework. Like, when you talk about teens, they can't stand homework. It's something that's absolutely horrible for them. So we will give them content, but we will make it in a way that has to be more participative. Has to be an input they are excited about doing it. So each center is different, but could be like a center has like a list of topics that are extremely important. Like we are going to talk about God. So we can create a class like a group. Depends also if the center gives the same class to many different ages, or if they have the possibility of separating to closer ages, because when the kids can be separated, makes it so much easier. Because what you're going to talk to a 5-year-old, it's very different than what you're going to talk to a 14-year-old. And when they are together, it makes it a little bit more difficult. But let's imagine it's separate. Then when you're going to talk about God to little kids, you can give them an understanding of what it is. You can ask them to draw some pictures so they can share, they can create a game. But when you are talking to a teenager that already have an idea of what it's God, it has to be done in a little bit of different way. Maybe they can come with questions that their friends would be asking. We can tell them, not you, but your friend, because for them, like, I'm not going to ask that, I know it. But your friend that doesn't know much about Spiritism, for example, does he know what God is? How would you explain this to your friend? So it's just a way to make it very interactive with kids, not just telling them what to do, but asking them, how do you think it is good? And then we can get like a middle point. Because of course we can, as I said, we can make everything just fun and a game all the time, because they need to have a understanding. They need to have a solid base. Another thing that it was very helpful for my son, it's my personal opinion, was these two little books. Let me just show you. This one here, it's Allan Kardec. This is, don't know if you guys see backwards, but it's here, the Little Spirits book for young adults and beginners. So this is a very thin book. This is the Spirits book for teens. So it's very summarized to give them an idea, because usually when they take the Spirits book and it's so thick, they are like, nah. And it makes it more complicated. And when it's a little bit easier to read, it's better. This is the Gospel according to Spiritism for teenagers too. It's also very thin. And we actually use to people that do not know Spiritism and would like to have a glimpse of what it is, because they are summarized. So there are so many things we can do to help these teachings to go, but not exactly like a school, in a more fun way, in a more interactive way.
Okay, it's wonderful. And we do have here a question from Guilherme Dias. And he says, how to give teenagers practice. Just before
Practicing.
you went, let me just say what Jomara gave you a good insights here, and just this is a something you gonna help you. They need they not school, but when they do practice, they understand they need. My teens loves their homework because they will present their finds and get activities. So, could you please
So
let us know how to
practice.
put these guys to work?
So just for you to understand, when Guilherme is talking, give them practice is give them some exercises about the Spiritism. Give them. I didn't understand the practice portion. If he could explain a little bit, but for example, when we talk to younger kids, they and the activities like I don't like to call homework because most of the kids I know homework is a huge no. But when they have like some fun activities to bring to the next class, is the exactly same thing, but we don't mention homework. The younger kids, they get more excited about it, but the teens usually they are more reticent. So it has to be something that connects with them in a way they are going to be excited. If we take like a chapter in the Spirit's book and tell them to research that, for them it can be more painful. We could do it in a way like what could you get this idea. We can give them a certain idea and tell them what can you research in nowadays and that you can expose to us. For example, when we talk about love your enemies, why love your enemy? So they could do a research, and where is it? Did Jesus teach that? Where is it explained in a Spiritist doctrine? And why is it important nowadays? We can relate it to bullying because bullying is something so common that is happening so much. Why there is so much hatred amongst anything, amongst everything that's a little different. It's not that it's something new because bullying always existed, but it was not called bullying. Like my nickname was Four Eyes because I used the glasses. So that was my nickname. And it was very difficult. It was very difficult. But we kind of, we were able to overcome it in an easier way. And nowadays, it seems it's not that. Nowadays, it's very difficult. And nowadays, because our teens are so exposed to social media, what did not exist in my time, nobody went to social media and said, oh, Angela, she is the 4eye of my school. Nowadays, it can happen. And the impact on them can be very tough. And many times, the parents don't even know this is happening. Most of the times, my son tells me that the very bad things happens and that kid is in trouble. And I told him, but wait, did she talk to her mom? Oh no, she can't talk to her mom about that. That's not good. And I was like, so how she's gonna get out of this situation? So the teens, they kind of close to themselves and share among themselves, but they have this barrier towards the parents that is difficult. So another good thing is to open up the Spiritist Center where someone that is not the mother or father, but is someone that could talk to them about anything. So we have the Fraternal Counseling that is open for teens. And it's really like a fraternal counseling for adults. It's private. The fraternal counselor is not going to talk to the mother and father what the kid open up. But we'll try to help to guide this team based on the how to find the support, help stronger, how to help friends that are going through difficult situations. So there are so many intangibles. We are always learning. What I'm saying here is just my experiences and how I'm learning. But it's not that it is set to happen everywhere, because the dynamics of different countries can be very different too.
Yes, yes.
If you may
I
say something, what I'm reading here about what Guilherme said, I think we spoke this about a few weeks ago regarding Spiritist Center must give the opportunity to young people, give a lecture or have a band, have a theater, doing other things that they can do more than the Spirit Center director or president are really saying that no, you're not ready yet, or say don't give it a place, a space for youth to promote spiritism for their own inside the Spirit Center. It's only an adult saying you have to do this, you have to do that. And the space is for them as well. We should listen them more. And this is what Jamar is saying as well.
Exactly. And we can give so many tasks to them. Guilherme, for example, we could give them like a 5-10 minutes before a lecture. For example, centers, they have lectures, other centers have group studies. Could give this team a 5 or 10 minutes just to talk about an item that he would like to talk, or to do a reading, or to do a summary of something. It's like you are opening up, or do an initial prayer, like little things to start introducing them, and that they feel more useful. And yes, music, Elsa, music is so nice. Most of the kids love music. Sometimes not the type we love, but it's the type they love. And why not to allow them to have certain moments in the Spiritist Center to share it with us? That would be so nice. And we can show their work in one specific day. Like we can set up like once a month, the teams group is going to present something to the adults. That would be really wonderful to happen.
Yeah. Thais Gibernal, she gives a very good comment here, and she says, teens are being very influenced by the media that is nowadays promoting science, space, travels, etc. Many subjects that are explained by Spiritism.
Yes, that's wonderful. My son is absolutely in love with science and space and all these movies that are happening right now. For example, Venus, and so many movies really connected about it. So he is 17. So before the pandemic, we were going to the center, and he already started watching the lectures, because they didn't have a older teens class. So he started watching lectures. And most of the time it was very difficult, because it's a team. Oh, it's boring, because they like it to study, because they like to ask questions. So questions and answers are really good. But one day, one of my friends was going to present a lecture about Genesis, and he was going to talk about the planets evolution, life in different planets, and that was perfect. So I organized with a group of teens, the ones that were older, to participate of the lectures, because in the center we have like lectures like 40 minutes, and then we have like 15-20 minutes for questions and answers. And that's what they like to ask questions. So that lecture was a total success with the teens. They were like mesmerized when they saw the connection that the Spiritism has about science. So this was really good. This is the way to go.
Wonderful. Yeah. Oh my, so many comments, good comments here. I can see Jomar is asking if we do have these books in UK. Jamara, I don't think so because I don't know if we have here in Ireland or in UK. But I'm pretty sure we can find these in Amazon and ask to deliver.
States.
No?
Probably.
Elsa?
We can order, if everybody agrees, we can order these books. And the editor, I think, is the publisher. Which is the publisher, Angie? But we can. Okay, I can find it. But
Yeah.
Amazon, there's a.
Yeah, we will try to. We will try to.
Oh, Spiritus Alliance for Books.
Jussara.
Yes,
Yeah.
Spiritus group.
Yeah, we can buy in a bunch and ask to send over us. But it's good to have this. Let me see. Also, Jomara saying in her experience with spirit centers, working with teens, they do food collection to be donated to the food bank as well. She's saying it's a good practice. I'm. This is my opinion. We do need to show this kind of charity for them for sure. They need to think about the the, the, the other person, the other one, but at the same time, they needed to acquire spiritism teachings.
Exactly. They need to understand why there is a need to practice charity.
Exactly. What's the reason? What's behind the scenes? Okay, collecting food, doing charity is the action. What is the lesson behind it? Why they need to do this?
Mm-hmm.
I think this is important. I don't know, Charles. You do have a great youth spiritism movement in France. Can you?
Yes, more or less. What we have is similar books. I think it's not the translation of them, but it's a similar work which has been done here. The Spirit's book for youth and Gospel for youth, and they have quite good success. So people are really reading. The questions I would like to raise to Angie is what we observe here in France is you have more and more young people which have a kind of natural mediumship, and generally they leave it very, very difficultly because they do not find or hardly find around themselves some understanding of it. If they go and talk to the parents are saying, "Oh, stop with this," etc. Now, or if they go to the doctor, which generally are not spirits, the psychiatrists, sometimes they got in a psychiatric hospital and get a lot of drugs and so on, and then they just hide it and keep that on themselves. And we really found a very good demand of those young people in terms of mediumship to bring some good spiritist explanations in order to help them to live with it, to live with this natural faculty. Do you also observe this in the US or in UK or in other countries, or is it specific to France? I don't think so.
No, this is happening all over the world and very, very quickly. And just to give an example, I'm a medium since I was born, but then my parents always told me I was seeing imaginary friends. And when I was an adult, my mediumship was really strong, and I was already getting married. I had a date set, and it was very intense. I was seeing spirits every day. I was not a spiritist. My whole family, Catholics. And one day was very intense. I told my mother, I said, "Mom, I'm seeing spirits every day and I'm talking to them." And my mother said, "Oh my God, you are getting crazy now that you are moving to the United States." And I told her, "No, I'm not getting crazy." And this is the reaction of most of people that do know what is mediumship. They immediately think that person has a problem, that person has an issue, needs to go to a psychiatrist to be treated. And it's not true. We know there are so many people going to doctors and taking very heavy prescriptions because they're just mediums that are not understood. So it's very difficult because here in the US, for example, the society is not open to it. So when someone starts saying that they see spirits, immediately that person is weird, that person needs treatment. When this person has some knowledge of someone that knows a little bit about the Spiritism, this makes it so easy and so much healthier for the environment. Just another point here. My son was in his school, and then one friend started mentioning that he's seeing ghosts, and he was terrified. And then my son went to him and said, well, first of all, you are not seeing ghosts. And he's like, yes, I see them. And my son told him, you are seeing spirits. Spirits are not ghosts. And then it was like a big discussion. And he went into explaining that when anyone dies, becomes a spirit. And then the kid was like, but I only see bad ones. And then it was a long discussion. But in America, for example, the idea of someone seeing something that you cannot touch and most of the people cannot see, this is some kind of ghost. And the ghosts are evil. And it's not. It is not. It's not like this. We know that. If I die, I will not going to be an evil spirit, I hope. I will be a nice one. So that's what my son went to explain to them. And he said it was so popular that during lunchtime, everybody was around. All the teens were around, like listening, because it's something that not many people talk about. In the US, it's like a taboo to talk about it. So we have to reach out to those teens too, to help them to have an understanding. Recently here happened one thing, and I was talking to his girlfriend, and she is Protestant. So we were talking about, and I don't remember exactly what happened, but she said, oh, when I die, it's going to be very sad. I'm not going to see this person. And I was like, but why do you think so? And then she gave her explanation. And I was like thinking, how can I help her to understand? And then I thought about a book, The Life Goes On. It's from the series of André Luiz, Psychographic by Chico Xavier. And I took the book and I told her, listen, this is a Spiritist romance. There is everything here. There is friendship, there is hatred, there is betrayal, there is death, and there is the waking up after death. And she was like, anyway, I did this 2 days ago. She's almost finishing the book, and she sends me hundreds of texts with copies of the pages, highlighting questions that she wants to understand more. And she already told me that she told her sister, her brother, and they all want to know more. I was like, wow, that's awesome. So this book is really popular. And she already asked me, do I have another book? Because she's already finishing that. And then I said, aha, I have Nosso Lar, Astral City. And I told her a little bit of the story. And she was like, oh, I can't wait to get the new one. I was like, I think that's the new way to get the older teens that are not connected to Spiritism at all. I'm not talking about the ones that already have a relation, but I'm talking about the ones that understand zero about the Spiritism.
Yeah. And I think Miss Gibbons wants to say something. Looks at her face. He has a question mark in her face.
No, I actually was paying attention because I think That's very much what Angela was saying now. It's very much sometimes how to proceed, because I think what we seem to have, oh, we have a problem with connection, we have a problem. And we as spiritists should never say that, because we know that the spirits of these children that are coming up now, and there are young people now, are spirits that are coming here already with a mission. They have a certain knowledge. We know that. So we know that they are curious and they want to know. I think when they get bored, you said, oh, people go to the meetings and they bored. I'm an old woman and I get bored as hell, because some of the people, they speak really, everybody can get bored in some of the meetings, but I think the thing is, and I think Angela mentioned some, is actually to bring them out, to ask them what they think. And it's amazing. I worked in a place when most of the people there are very, very young. They were young adults. And I remember once I came in and they said, do you believe in God? And I said, yes, I do. And one of the young boy there, John, he was saying he believed in God, and they were saying, oh, they were laughing and things. And then when I said I do, I said, you see, and then I sat down with them and we're talking, and I said, yes, but the way you say it, then God seems to be real. Because I was giving them the explanation that we have of God in the Spirit's book, not sort of friendly way, but I was explaining. I said, yeah, then it makes sense then if you think, if God is that, but I don't believe he's punishing you and all that kind of thing. And that's, I think, the idea that many young people have, but they listen in traditional churches. And also that is, I think, one of the big problems now. And one thing you were saying as well, Angela, that people are having problems and being unable to talk to their parents. And I think this is something very, very difficult and painful, not to be able to talk to your parents or to someone in your family, because I suppose that this is a problem anyway that young people always had. All of us, I think, if you remember back when we were young, we all had problems sometimes to come to your mom, but you would go to your aunt, and you would say something, or go to your cousin. We had this unity that you could actually talk and friends. And I think this is very important. And because I think the crisis that we have is not a crisis of youth, it's a crisis of family. It's a crisis of the parents. They are too busy. They work too hard. You don't have that connection anymore that, maybe we did. Not that is wrong, but I'm sure probably most of us always had a dinner in a table with the rest of the family. Nowadays, everyone is watching their telly, or even if they are sitting together, they are on the phone. So I think some kind of discipline there, that there is a moment for the family, that if people feel that they can come to the family. And I have a friend. She's got 2 children. I think her child now is older, but she always brought the problem to the family, and even problems that like your son, problem that she heard in the school, and she was able to talk to her father and to her mother about it. And she was always like, in a way, almost always giving advice to the other kids, because she could talk to her parents and discuss it. So she would have something more positive to say to her colleagues, to her friends. And I think that's one of the things to understand as well, to bring out this knowledge, like science is something that they like. You said that they are in Instagram and now you have information so fast, they can't stay too long in one thing. That's why you need to bring one thing that really attracts their attention and be able to explain that, and make them involved, bring them out of themselves. And like you said with this girl, she said, oh, why don't you read this book? It's interesting, you may like it. And she liked it, and she wants to talk about it. She talks to other people about it. And I think that's what we need to do. What is it that you want to know? And give them the opportunity to go and search for themselves. I'm here if you need to ask me anything. And and she's curious. She wants to know more, and she's spreading out. And that's how it works, isn't it? Because in many ways, we have this way of teaching people, I'm going to tell you what I know and how you have to learn it. And the young people are not in this anymore because, they've already have so much knowledge within them. They only wanted to explore, to find out they already know, because I think most of them knows a lot. And unfortunately, there is this breaking down somehow of the family. And, I remember I was reading something about young people. And this psychologist, an American psychologist, actually, she was saying the problem is if you don't become the parents of your child, they will go to Madonna and Bieber to be their parents.
Yes.
And it's true, because, if you can't find the people, parents sometimes are very busy on their own phones. You're watching them in a bus or in a cafe. You see this little boy desperate to talk to the father, but he's so busy on the phone that you not look to the child. Annoys me when this happens. So that's why they go somewhere else, and they start experimenting with drugs, which opens up their minds, and they become, seeing things and becoming involved in so much. And then it's very difficult to bring them. They are such a precious life that are there now for us to reach out and open the door so they can come and say, I have this, go out, find out, study, learn for yourself. And if you have any doubt, I'm here to help you. I don't know. I feel that very strong, that we sometimes want to impose what we know on other people. And that's not a good way, not for the young people now.
Yeah, you brought so many points that are extremely important. So many. And the first thing you have to start with the family, exactly like you said. We are busy. We work so much. Some people have 2 jobs, but we have to set up something that we can all be together at one point. So some people are fortunate to be able to be every night in the house. So set up dinner. We all eat together. And nobody on the phone. That's how it's here in the house. Teenagers, they are glued to the phones. And I said, no, we are having dinner. You're not going to look at your phone. And we also do a prayer every day before we start the dinner. So usually my sons do the initial prayer, and then he has to be thankful for whatever happened in that day, to ask the enlightened spirits to give good fluids for our food, to be thankful for the food. And then we talk about what happened that day. So it's a good example to be able to talk a little bit with your mother and father. Another thing is, like, the teens are so quickly, everything is so quick. So they really use TikTok and so many other platforms. So we have to learn how to use it to give quick content. I was creating a program on Kardec radio. It was going to be like talks. And then I asked my son, what can I do to reach the younger people? And he said, make it short. I'm like, really? And I said, but some things are very important. And Mom, nobody listens to your 1-hour talks. I'm like, he's talking about teenagers. And I wanted to reach teenagers or English speakers that did not understand about the Spiritism. So I create a series of talks of 10 minutes, each one about very simple topics like ghosts. And then I explain what they are. And anyway, so nowadays, don't even need to be 10 minutes, 5 minutes, but exactly like this, things that attracted them and they would be curious to take a look. So I even name it, Are You Curious? The name of the talk. So they are curious to read about, to pay attention about it. So there are so many things that can be done to bring them to pay more attention. And the opening up, it's always a challenge. Because yes, when we were younger, there were certain things that I would never talk to my mother and father. And nowadays too. Nowadays, they also have this, that, oh no, I can't talk about this to my mom, but I can talk to my best friend, or I can talk to someone in a Spiritist center, or a lot of kids, unfortunately, they are actually asking the parents to go to a psychologist because there are certain issues. They say it's very difficult to talk to parents, and a psychologist would help them to understand. So this is another thing that's very new too. In my time, we would never think about, can I go to a psychologist? No, it would never happen in that time.
Great. Thank you. So we have many questions here, but about the book, I couldn't find it here. We do have the book in amazon.co.uk. It's 10 pounds paperback and £5 Kindle version. So you have both there. So it's easy to buy it and read it with your...
Cheaper than the shipment. The shipment is very expensive.
Exactly.
And with the Kindle, you have it like that. 1 minute
Kindle
already
is
there.
instantly. Yeah, Kindle is for
And is
£5.
that for the children who read on their Kindles, on their phones, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. So
I'd like to make a quick comment, Stevan.
Yeah, well, go ahead. Yes.
Yes, I was thinking about, because they use in spirituality. Spirituality is a huge, a broad, wide things to think about working in spirituality. And what I think is religion. Young people, they don't like the word religion. They don't want to be involved with religion. There are many families, they are atheists. They don't have the way to teach spirituality for their young people, their children. And this is a gap in our system now, right now. And when you talk about TikTok, about these quickly things, that we should really go for that we can fill this gap that is already inside the families, and explain more. You don't need to be religion. You don't need to go to the church. You don't need to do this or that related to imposition of religion, etc. Spirituality is a freedom of thoughts, really linked with Almighty Father. Almighty Father is spirituality. We don't take God out of our spirituality. No?
No, because I think it's important as well to understand that spirituality is almost a feeling that you have to connect to the sacred. As you said, it's not a religious thing. It's something that within us, all of us, we have this desire to connect with something that's sacred, that's special. And that's what spirituality is, and it's a search as well for the sacred in us. Not, of course we have God, but something that makes us feel more is who we are, and that's very important. And young people can understand that, they can grasp the idea of looking for something beyond, because they look for space, they look for all this kind of things, so that within them they have this knowledge that we need to assess and bring out and help them to find it.
Exactly. The girlfriend of my son, for example, she wrote me, wow, I am amazed how this religion of Spiritism is so interesting. And then I wrote her back and I said, Spiritism is not a religion. It is a philosophy of life. So you can follow any religion or even no religion, and you can still follow Spiritism. And then she came with so many other questions, and she said, so I'm Protestant, so can I also be Spiritist? And I said, of course. Spiritism is a way that we will understand you certain things that are in many religions or no religions, they are limited. So Spiritism helps you to have this broader understanding of what happens after the death of your physical body, or why certain kids are born sick and others healthy. There are so many questions that they don't know, and the Spiritism goes in depth about it. And then I also talked about mediumship. Mediumship is something natural, it's something that happens everywhere, with any type of religion, no religion, countries, language, different society background. And it is just a characteristic of the physical body of the person. So some ones are ostensive medium. So yes, we can help them so much, separating what is spirituality and what is religion. When you bring religion to a teenager, for example, they are pretty much connected to school, and school is teaching them religions. In the past, they were killing each other, Protestants killing the Catholics, and then the contrary, Muslims. It's always like a killing, because my religion is better than yours, so I'm going to kill you. That's what the history shows them. So when we explain that Spiritism is no religion, is a philosophy of life, just to help you to understand, this is a much better way to connect with them.
May I raise a last quick point? What also I found out is that for teens, the things are going sometimes very quickly, and they are challenging us. We have some resistance of change and so on, or even sometimes some bad habits. And sometimes the teens are coming and pushing us out of the comfort zone. I give an example like Greta Thunberg. This is blah, 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 and so on. And we see it's so young, and already this concern about our planet, about sustainability, about pushing us to make the things differently that we used to do, and coming, challenging to create a kind of a new society with a different way of life. Couldn't that be also a kind of a win-win approach to attract them if we open a little bit ourselves and make this effort to follow them on some of these fields?
Definitely. Another thing that I was asking my son is pretty much connected with what you were saying, is that how can we attract teens to the Spiritus Center? Because usually when they become like 13, is already so difficult to keep them. They go obligated. And then my son was saying, well, you have to start asking them what to do. And I'm like what to do? I don't understand it. And he was saying that usually when he goes to the Spiritus Center, we teach them everything they cannot do. But he would like to go to a place to understand what they can do. And in my old-fashioned mind, I'm like, but this is the same thing. They basically need to know why they can't do it, so they can do something else. And he said, no, when you are teaching them, you don't do this, you don't, this is already a blockage. And you should say, you should do this, and do that. So it's like an inversion way. Basically, it's the same thing. It's almost a neuro-linguistic way that we learn. When you call someone and you ask the person, don't you want to do this? Don't you want to purchase this item? The brain will answer no. But if you ask the person, would you like to buy this? The brain will be like, maybe. So it's something really shifting our ways of teaching them too. So this is something for all of us to start thinking about. I thought it was very interesting.
Yeah. So, Angela, just to wrap up here, we are end of our time already. I put your screen here. Would you mind to show your two websites if people want to join and see more about what you said? It's kind of a good way to.
Yeah. So if you guys are seeing this is the website of the Family Spiritus Retreat. This is an event that happens in the United States, and it is organized by the Tri-State Spiritus Federation. And if you can see, it's the 18th year here. The 18th year we do it. And I have been participating for 16 years. And last year and the year before, because of the pandemic, we did it online. So it was a challenge because we had never done it online. This is an event that goes throughout the whole day. When before the pandemic, we met in a beautiful park in Connecticut, and we stayed there from 8 o'clock in the morning until 5, 6 o'clock in the afternoon. And we had lots and lots of activities for little kids, teenagers, adults, and many different activities to families. And we had to create this online. So just to give you an example, we had in-person activities. This was the 2021. We had activities in person and online. 2020, we only had online. So last year, we had the activities online, and we created many activities to the whole group, to families, to little kids, and of course to our teenagers. So this was when we got connected with all the teenagers, and we were asking them how to make an online event fun for teenagers. And many ideas came. And one of the ideas was actually this website that's called Topia. So Topia, I know it's very little, it's very hard to see, but if you guys Google Topia, you will understand it's a way that you can create your own world online. And in this world online, you are a little doll. So you walk and you meet other people. So everybody gets connected in this website, and they walk around in the city that you can create. So we created an area to have lectures, an area to receive healing passes, an area that you would talk to a counselor, an area that we are going to put pictures of past events, so you can create whatever you want. And they absolutely loved this portion. And another thing that also happened is that they said that they would love to be on a video game, and that it was also created. So they also taught us a website where we could create video games so the teens could participate. So this video game, it was all fed with spiritist questions, and was like a video game in many levels. So level 1, they were different types of games. They all had to work in groups, answering basic questions, and all advancing to level 2, 3, 4. So anyway, it was extremely successful. The event ended. We were saying goodbye, and they were so excited. They didn't want to leave. They wanted to keep chatting, and then they end up creating a chat room to talk about the Spiritus video game. So just an idea, maybe someone can listen and they can implement this in their countries, in their cities. So this was really, really good to hear from their teens.
Okay. Thank you, my dear. Thank you very much. Let me just put our announcements here. And let's go. So next Wednesday, the intuition of future joys and sorrows. Nadja will be with us. Remember, 9 o'clock, London time, 23rd of February. Don't forget, every Wednesday we do have at 4 p.m. London time a coffee break with Kardec. The facilitator is our friend Munir Gariba, and it's a wonderful moment for a break in our busy day. Time to talk every other Tuesday. where Guilherme Diaz and Rafael Caldas give us conversations about mediumship. It's a wonderful time to get to know more about it. And also on Saturdays at 10:30 a.m., Guilherme Diaz, Munir Gariba, and Charles Kempf, they are giving a free online course about the Medium's book. Okay? So everyone is more than welcome. And now our event for upcoming April, more than almost 40 countries talking about Spiritism in a month. So it's a month long episodes which all these countries will talk about Spiritism.
And Angela will be there as well.
Angela will be there. Yes, of course. She will. Yeah. And I want to say thank you, Angela. Thank you, my friends. It's always nice to have you all. We do have a lot of questions here. Also, one of important questions we didn't have time to ask, where Guilherme asked how to help teens with ostensive mediumship. Perhaps we can prepare a part two, and we starting with this topic here: how to talk about mediumship, how to encourage those teens to not be afraid and say this is normal, and how and you need to live with it. So how to do it?
Very good. Important.
Yeah. Yeah, so offline. We can organize a date, and you can come back. And thank you everyone who wrote here. A lot of people. I also put the link here for the books. It just answering a question. It is recorded. It's on Kardec Radio Facebook, Buzz, YouTube, Spiritism of Ireland Facebook and YouTube, and also in Inner Light Miami Facebook and YouTube. So it's plenty of resources. You cannot say I couldn't find it because it's there and is recorded. Okay. Thank you, my friends. I wish you all a wonderful night. I'll see you next Wednesday. Thank you, Angela,
Thank
one more
you.
time.
Awesome. Bye, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.